This is episode 3 of the ongoing pseudocode series, and in this episode we are going to be looking at lines in line numbering when it comes to pseudocode. So for the most part, whenever you write your pseudocode, you as the programmer are not necessarily required to use lines and line numbering to describe, or rather to depict or to demarcate, as it were, your pseudocode. But for the most part, this is going to be used in questions, I think particularly in paper 2, where you get pseudocode questions, and sometimes you might actually have to trace through maybe a pseudocode algorithm that's already presented to you, and you're given some test data that you should work with. So in that case, typically you're going to be given lines in line numbering to show that to show the number of statements, and maybe you might have to identify a particular line that is an error, or just for easy readability, so that you can make sense of the algorithm. So essentially, you realize that for the most part, every IDE that you would want to use, like any modern day IDE, is going to give this line and line numbering effect. So essentially, let's just read through this sentence right here. So where it is necessary to number the lines of pseudocode so that they can be referred to, line numbers are presented to the left of the pseudocode. So this is what you see going on right here. This is a feature that is being presented, or rather that is made available to me by this IDE that I'm using. So you can see that I have 7 lines of code there. So these are not necessarily required, but they make it easy for me to identify which line that I'm currently working on. Or if I'm going to have an error in my line, then I can quickly figure out which line has an error. So that's the same effect these lines and line numbering has to pseudocode. It doesn't necessarily mean it should be part of your pseudocode, but it's just included for easy readability. So line numbers are consecutive. So when you get from when you come from line 1, naturally you're going to go to line 2 and 3 and 4 and so forth and so on. And also each line representing a statement is numbered. So you'd realize that if a particular line is not numbered, then it means that it is part, or it is continuation of the previous line. Otherwise, every line, it's an independent statement, as it were. So yeah, I think that's just about it for lines in line numbering. The important thing is to remember is that when you are writing your pseudocode algorithms, you don't necessarily need to put lines in line numbering as part of the answer that you are formulating. But you'll find out it's often given to you whenever you are working with pre-written pseudocode for ease of identification of statements, as well as for ease of identification of errors and so forth and so on. So yeah, that's just about it for this episode. I think I'll see you in the next one.